peace must be our goal and our guide. And all that we strive for as a human family, dignity and hope, progress and prosperity, depends on peace. But peace depends on us.
Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television from the Political Command Center of the Legacy Trend and the Punchline Africa Television. Good morning. This morning, the Legacy Trend would like, on behalf of the Legacy Trend and all its people around the country, we would like to bring this show on Friday. But we want to be quick and straightforward to the point. We have COVID-19 reports that will come briefly by mentioning Kenya's, how far are we, Miriam, to go to the curves? Are we flattening the curves? Are we already there? People have already gone in the field before we go. So we don't know whether we have flattened the curve or there is a problem. So thank you very much, viewers. Then secondly, we shall review the newspapers here, the Kenyan newspapers as they are, the Daily Nation, the Standard and the Star. Briefly, then reach the point of the BBI. Isn't it time for us to throw this document to the people? That's why I brought in a consultant, a senior consultant, a very powerful person, an analyst, herself, a media guru who has been in the media before. She can tell us, isn't it the timing? Isn't it the time? And the professor will add on with his wrong version. Are we waiting too long? Are we punching the bag, which should be in the public to be punched by the public? Are we saturating what is the message? So thank you very much. With us, we have Mukami, a consultant, this morning as a guest of our Legacy Trend. Thank you very much. Good morning, Madam Mukami, wherever you are.
Good morning, Dr. Matsanga. And indeed, you've put it very correctly. It's about time that that content is made public. Unfortunately, we've had a few people who have read, largely because of the culture of this country. Not many people like reading. So the few who have read and have interpreted it in their own understanding have been giving us tips and bits of what the content is or is expected to be. Just the other day, we have seen the debacle and the fiasco at the Senate. And now we are all thinking that the only issue on BBI is matters to do with revenue allocation, which is an important thing, definitely, because people fight because of lack of equity and equality in terms of revenue distribution. But BBI is not just about that. We are talking about a constitution, a document that runs an entire nation. And it couldn't have come at a better time, especially during this time of Corona, where everybody is being reflective on what needs to change, what needs to be done. Today, Dr. Matsanga, we know that, planting trees is more important than even, documenting a policy. So we have been brought back to our basics, and this constitutional review wouldn't have come at a better time.
Thank you very much. Oh, I think we are opening very nicely. Miriam, take over from me. Let me do a quick introduction. In Malindi, in the corner, with a red, my good color all the time, is Nanda Karen Joseph. You can see her down there, smiling at the waters of Indian Ocean in Malindi. She's our correspondent throughout the coast, from Lamu up to Kwale, Lunga Lunga. Good morning, Karen.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga. I get my people. We are smiling at the waters.
Is it raining today?
No, we've not had rain today, but it's expected later on the day. But we had it yesterday. We had a gloomy day over here, but we thank God anyway.
Thank you very much. And then next is Professor Onyadi, who is online. Professor, good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Masanga, our panelists and our viewers from wherever they are, from the rest of the world.
Thank Briefly, let's go through the COVID-19, Kenya, only and East Africa, if possible. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, and a very good morning to our panelists. Good morning to their doctor, and indeed good morning to our viewers, wherever they're watching us today. Kenya, as it stands this morning, the confirmed cases is at 35,603. The death toll is 612, and recovery rate now in the country is at 22,047. Uganda, 4,291 cases. 48 deaths have been reported in Uganda. Recovery rate is at 1,998, and the total cases in the continent is at 1,322,542 cases. The number of deaths that have been reported in the continent is at 31,009. Recoveries right now so far stands at 1,059,665. So in a nutshell, that's where we are today. And of course, the global figures right now have topped over 28.3 million cases, and the global deaths right now are nearing 1 million, standing at 913,931 cases. And the recovery rate is at 20,345,796. Doctor, that's in a nutshell where we are this morning in terms of COVID-19.
Miriam, before you hand it over to me, you look at the figures, are we curving? Are we going? Are we flattening the curve? Are we not already in the field when the curve? We don't know when the second, the third, the fourth wave will come. And the people are not wearing their masks. People are not wearing their masks, Professor. People, Mukami, whatever you are listening, are you wearing your mask? I can see you. You don't have the mask in the car.
I have just left the car.
Yes.
And yes, I'm wearing my mask.
Okay, thank you very much. I can see you are walking up the stairs or you are in the lift. Thank you very much. We are sorry to have cut you off from your office. But
not at all, not at all. Like you have said, work has become easier now with all these online engagements.
Okay, thank you very much. And Mukami, stay online. We are going to come close quickly on you. We shall jump the newspaper. We shall do them later ourselves because you say you want to go quickly. I think in agreement, Miriam, let's come to the BBI. And then we come to the papers later. Professor, your statement on the COVID-19, as we leave it and come to it later. Sir.
Miriam, Dr. Masanga, the Bible tells us that never should we tempt God. God has been so gracious to Kenya and Africa. But what I can see, the poor hygiene from our politicians, they are going outside there, assuming that the COVID is not even there. But I want to tell them, I can have it and they can have it. Please let us follow all the protocols as given by World Health Organization and the Minister of Health.
Yes, thank you very much. Karanja in Nanyuki, straighten your equipment. We can hear some noise coming from your equipment. Now, the weather in Malindi, quickly, 1 minute.
Okay, today it will range between 23 degrees Celsius, 29, and it's now 10:41. It's at 26 degrees Celsius. At 11, we'll have showers. It will be at 28 degrees Celsius. And at around noon, our temperature will be at 29 degrees Celsius. It will be constant 20 degrees Celsius from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. To 3 p.m. Sorry. And then at 4 p.m., we'll have it at 27 degrees Celsius to still be mostly sunny. 5 p.m., it will be at 26 degrees Celsius, mostly sunny. We'll have the sun setting here at 6:18, exactly 6:18 p.m. 6 degrees Celsius. The humidity right now is at 88%. Back to you, Dr. Miriam.
Oh my God, 88%. It is like heat itself.
Doctor, did you
How
say
are you
88%?
feeling? You feel like that's why you are bubbling. Thank you very much. Back to you, Miriam. Read the topic of BBI.
All right, so what you're going to look at right now is, of course, under the legacy trend and the need for BBI as it is right now. And we know that the BBI is lauded as a solution to address governance challenges facing the country. This include advancing inclusion, uplifting the economy, countering corruption, and strengthening institutions. The BBI will also be used to counter political extremism. However, since the inception of the BBI, there has been different reactions, especially from our political class there, Doctor. And we've seen since that handshake that gave birth to the BBI, I think the political temperatures in this country has been on an all-time high, and culminating from what we even saw yesterday and the recent days there.
Thank you very much, Miriam. You have summarized it. We want to put it to the expert herself. Mukami, are you with us or you have disappeared?
No, I'm with you, Dr. Matsanga.
Okay, thank you.
Yes.
You have heard. Is it the time now? Because one of the things in political science is timing.
Yes.
Are we losing time? Are we gaining time?
No,
is it the time now for the BBI to come out?
You know, BBI is a process. You know, the building bridges is a process. It is not an event. And
yes.
The fact that the conversations and the discussions are ongoing is already part of the process of BBI. It all started at the handshake when we realized that two hotly contended rivals can actually greet each other and agree on matters of principle. So it is the right time. It has been a process of about 2 years. Of course, others are yet to come on board with it in terms of what is expected to be done as an end result. But I must say that it's never too late and it's never too early to have conversations that are for posterity. Remember that we are now living in a country where the generation 70% or is it 80% would rather not even consider tribalism as an issue or as a basis of making decisions. But now we, the older generation, are being awakened to that reality. That at the end of the day, like the American would say, the dollar is green. We are suffering economic crisis. Everybody is suffering. We have now realized that, you eat, I eat, and if I lose, you lose. So the conversation is already ongoing, and yes, it is very timely. In terms of what we might be worried about is whether we have the resources to take it all the way to the end with all these issues that are coming about on corruption. But I would say, if we can lose the kind of money that we are losing in fraudulent activities, why wouldn't we have enough money to change the constitution that would guide us towards where we want as a country?
Okay, thank you very much, Mukami. She says, Professor, is it the time? How long do we wait? Can we wait any longer, or we come to the ground? The longer you wait, there is this thing of cooking the food beyond the ordinary sweetness. I think you have it in your Kisi land of Abagusi, where you cook. The food must be at the level where you eat it. Don't leave it to go to the level where nobody wants to eat it. So when I teach, whenever I teach political science, Miriam and Karen and Mukami, Winnie, I always look at when is it the time to eat this food? Because the more you wait with the food, the guests would have gone. And then you'll end up heaping it in black bags, throw them in the bin for the other people, dogs and other hyenas to eat. Are we waiting for hyenas to eat us? Prof.
Thank you, Dr. Masanga, for that good question. Yeah. The responsibility of any government is to protect life and properties. We were hit by the pandemic, whereby we were to focus on it, fight it, and we thank God that we are almost there. Now that we are almost there, we go back to where we were in terms of where we want to take the country. So the PPI report is ready. It is only to be given to be handed over to the two principals, the Prime Minister and the President, and then be tabled to Parliament, and then it is brought to us so that we can decide what we want to do with it. Remember, Dr. Masanga, constitutions all over the world, after they have gone a 10-year cycle, we audit. And it has come at a very perfect time, Dr. Masanga. And it is almost 2 years now, almost 23 months, the next generation. We must go and have the PPI like yesterday, not even tomorrow, so that we can be able to address divisive election, corruption, which is making people run away day and night. They are scared because we are soon narrowing them. We look at inclusivity. So, Dr. Masanga, to be very straight, your question, PPI should have been done yesterday, but because of the pandemic, the time now is now that we need to start move around. You have seen the Prime Minister is going around, started going and assuring Kenyans that the reggae is still on. And the sooner we enter the stage to start dancing, the better, Dr. Masanga.
Thank you very much. The sooner we start dancing, the better. Before, the food has nobody to eat. I've given you, I'm honest, straight talker. Let me come to Karanja, using your audio from wherever you were in Nanyuki. Karanja, how are you? Karanja seems to have a technical problem. Okay, let me come to Malindi. Our teacher. Oh, Karanja has resurrected Malindi. Hold on. Karanja from Nanyuki. Is it the time now? Is it? Yes.
Time is now to have the BBI in order to address the problems that have been ailing Kenyans. We know after every election, we have a problem. And the BBI is coming to address those electoral reforms and to ensure that we have a peaceful election. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yes.
We can hear you. Go
ahead.
Okay. That's why I'm saying this is the right time to hold the BBI meetings to champion for it, because it is bringing change, so that we have a credible electioneering body. Because we know in our country, elections, especially the presidential election, that's where the big problem is. And when the BBI comes, it is coming to solve that problem, to ensure that the electoral process is not as competitive as it was. And it will bring inclusivity. That is where we want to expand executive, so that we have a position for Prime Minister, so that other communities will feel as part and parcel of our country. Another thing that I need the BBI to look for, because there is a corruption. Corruption is a cancerous thing in our country, and it should be addressed right now. It should be dealt with, and those people who are found culpable for corruption deeds or receiving corruption proceedings, they should be prosecuted, and the punishment should be severe, so that it will teach as an example to others who want to take that route. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Stay on the line. That is very good. From Nanyuki. That is the grassroots guy in Nanyuki. They are ready. And I know Nanyuki will vote 100% plus one for the BBI.
101 plus 1.
Yes, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Hold on the line. Let me go to Malindi before I come back to Mukami. And then, Mukami, you have heard the professor, you have heard Mr. Karanja, Javan Karanja from Nanyuki town, the center of the grain growing areas of this country, where the food basket of Kenya. You have heard what it is. Here we are in Malindi. Tell us, what did you think about the BBI? Do you want the food to be left by the guests?
Okay, Dr. Matsanga, I do not want the food left by the guests. What I would want done here is for it to be, we have it out, because the country right now is in tension. There is so much tension. It's just so hot. So we need this BBI, because one of its aims is to national cohesion.
It's so hot. Are you saying it's very hot like in Malindi?
It's beyond what here.
That word is so hot. It reminds me of the heat we had in 2007. Thank you. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the BBI is meant to promote.
Yes.
I seem to be having a problem with
Now,
there. Okay, go ahead.
Yes.
Yes, and not only does it solve this revenue thing, but then it has to do with, sorting out issues to do with negative ethnicity. And I think it's one of the problems we are facing as a country right now. And apart from that, youth unemployment issues. So the BBI is just what we need right now. And it's very timely because of what we're facing, and it has the solutions to what we're facing, Dr.
Thank you very much. The solution, unit of purpose, the readiness of Nanyuki, the readiness of Malindi and the coast. Yesterday, the former Prime Minister was in the coast, and you could see Governor Joho making it very clear. There are people who have been saying, doubting Joho, or that he's going where. No, Joho will never leave Raila Odinga. It's impossible. That is his bedmate up to the end. So if you are playing with the cost, thinking you can go there and ditch your little money, stolen money, it can't count. The cost people are determined to have a partner. This is what Joe said. Cost people are determined to have a partner who will make them contribute to the welfare of this nation called Kenya. Mukami, you have heard I know you want to go. You have heard the comments of people, and you have listened to them.
Yes.
You have heard from Professor. You have heard from Nanyuki. You have heard from Miriam. You have heard from Karen Jot. Is it the time now? Because you are a consultant. Why I brought you on here? You are the real McCoy. Tell us, you English writing people who write and look at these small dots, who you might have seen. Is the food going to be left for other? It is like Jesus left people to eat after he had magnified the food. So the people who came later did not see Jesus. They only ate food. That's why you and I are still on Maram and others are on tarmac. Those who went with Jesus ahead are on tarmac. I'm telling you, that's how the world is. And I was taught by my professor of political science. The beginning, when I sat in the class, he told me, remember there are two classes. One is tarmac and the one is Maram. So it meant that me, a black man who had come in his class in London Guildhall University, I was in Maram. So I must pull up to go on tarmac. It pained me so much. Miriam, I can tell you, it was killing me. But I struggled and I beat them, all the Bazungu. So are we missing the food? Are we cooking too much? Are we over salting, putting too much salt in the BBI? What is the strategy? Why can't we release it? Wacha watu wasome. Those who want come with their suggestions. Because the more we wait, the more we see loopholes being punched left and right. What is your position? You are part of those inner McCoy operatives of all this writing English. Yes, thank you. And you are a consultant of strategy, a consultant of there is another thing you do, which is very complicated for me. I do of writing English grammar pressing. I am not interested in that. I'm very bad at names. So,
you know, Dr. Matsanga, if you keep
Yes.
talking like that and I keep boasting around town that you're my teacher, you're my lecturer,
Yes.
so I learned from the best.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, I learned from the best. But let me just say that, yes, it is the right time to have a policy review. We can make a policy today, and if it doesn't make sense tomorrow, there is no problem in changing it, because law is made for man and not man for law. So we have sat down and we have had this discussion of BBI, just like I mentioned earlier, for the last almost 2 years since the handshake took place. And I must say the fact that the conversation has been ongoing, whether we are giving false information in some cases where we have people who have misrepresented the facts, we have had people who have misrepresented the intention of the BBI, it is all part of the process. If anybody is waiting for BBI to happen, let it be known to them today that it is already happening. The fact that we are having this conversation is tantamount to the whole BBI activity taking place. We have had, of course, sharp reactions both on both ends, where we have an extreme yes and we also have an extreme no. But when you have an objective committee that was put together by the two principals, they are able to collect this information and balance it out. So the fact that they're also asking for more time, to continue working on the document is a good thing. But my recommendation would be that we begin to create other secretariats outside the BBI so that they can have a difference of opinion. Because there's also the challenge, when we were going through the constitution making process, if I remember, we had a number of drafts, and it was because we were getting different opinions from different experts. So if we continue having the same experts looking at the document over and over such a long period of time, also we might, reach an end of thinking capacity, etc. So I'm not saying that the committee should be changed. I'm saying it is the ideal committee. However, they might need to start forming other secretariats outside themselves so that they can have a coordinated approach in terms of sending out feelers and getting reactions so that they can move on the document that they intend to eventually send to the president. So whether it's the right time or not the right time, that should not arise, not at all. Like I said earlier, the only issue we should be discussing is whether we have the resources to carry out the whole exercise to the end. Remember that there's an opportunity to have two approaches. We can go through Parliament, where we have issues that can be changed in Parliament, go ahead and be changed in Parliament. Whatever that needs to go out into the public then can also go out into the public. So in terms of prioritization, and those are the conversations we would like to hear our leaders and the experts begin to roll out. What are the areas of interest? What is the bottom line in terms of the common person? Like the revenue allocation, I can tell you for sure, a lot of people are beginning to understand what that really means because of the acrimony that we have seen at the Senate. And I can tell you it is a good thing. The fact that this bill has taken this long to pass at the Senate is a very good thing, because it triggered everybody into that conversation, and people are beginning to see the reality of what that would mean and what the president is really trying to do to the nation. He's saying that over and above expanding the executive, we want you, Wanjiku, in some place in Lokichogio. We want you, Wanjiku, in Kisumu, you, Wanjiku, in, next to the border in Western, to have a taste of the national cake in a larger scale, because it is about you, the person. It is not about the landmass, like you saying. I've been listening to many of your shows, Dr. Matsanga.
Thank you very much. I concur with you on the last point, seriously. Wanjiku, everywhere near the border, in Lodwar, in Busia, in Migori, in Lunga, in Namanga, in Indian Ocean near Malindi, like my sister is happily waiting for the 2 hours to go off and run to the waters. Some people are very lucky, when they live near the ocean. You just go on it. Some of us pay heavily to arrive there. So thank you very much. Any questions to anybody who has got a question to Mukami before she leaves? Professor? Or any additional contribution? Prof?
Mukami, you have said that the statement that the Senate is a good thing.
Yeah, to open up the BBI, to show
Open
Kenya.
BBI. I agree with you that we need to go through the BPI because we are fighting over small resources. That's 15%. If we are going to increase it to 35% as it has been recommended, and then we tighten corruption because it is identified in BBI, I entirely agree with you that this country will go big steps forward, and that one will be the greatest legacy President Uhuru Kenyatta will leave for this country. I agree with you.
Thank you. I agree with Mukami on the point that it is a very good thing to argue in it. It shows that there is a need to change the constitution. The very argument that counties are coming to a standstill next week on Tuesday, that the governors wanted to dissolve the Senate, you know, is the very fact that I have told you. I told you people, Kenyans, there is one thing that I am happy about. I said this, that this constitution, governors could become political warlords. There is a section where governors can come and seal the Senate. You have seen it, you saw it in the Kenyan constitution. They can close it. Honestly, they can dissolve that Senate because they are affected. So this type of an amorphous monster called the Constitution, where you hybrid from the American and the Westminster, you can't mix those two. The Americans hold guns and buy guns like you buy bread and a loaf. The British don't buy guns easily. So you cannot mix us together. Nowhere. You can go to a shop in America and buy a gun and come and shoot anybody. Then go for life sentence. In Britain, it's difficult to buy a gun. But what Kenya did was to pick some parts from Mr. Dr. Ekuro Ekot lied to us. And you know, history does not like people who lie. It catches with you.
And Dr.
I am happy that last weekend they smashed him out of his stronghold. The Third Alliance Party is no more. If you are expelled, you can go and argue with the delegates, but not with the court. The court cannot restitute you. The court can only say when you are suspended, but not expelled. Expulsion is very serious by the General Delegates Conference, because all what you need is to have delegates in the conference. Even if they make a quorum, they tell you, we endorse. So here we are. You can eat George Soros' money and tell us you made a constitution. Kumbe, this constitution was hybrid. That's why you see Maraga, Chief Justice Maraga finds himself in the middle. One good leg, this tall one, is taller. You know, every leg has a taller one and a longer one. The foot is never the same. Shoes, if you go to Bata, you don't buy the shoes the same. Me, I have my leg is, if I put in the right leg and the shoe fits, it means the left one will fit. But if I start with the left and the buy, I reach home, I have to return it to the good shoes. Anyway, I only wear Crocs. I don't wear this.
All right.
Of Turkey and so on and Egypt. Thank you very much. But that is the sense of humor, Miriam.
Yes.
If you look at
Dr. Matsanga, I'd like I'd like to build on a comment that you have just made, and it's important because it might just go in passing. This issue of governors becoming, demagogues, and the fact that we want to also channel this money to the counties, moving it up from 15% into 35%. We also need to ensure that management of these resources, once they get to the county, and that's why I say the conversations at the Senate are very critical. We need to hear the senators. It's only that we're not hearing them, make these proposals around how to manage the resources when they get to the ground. And that's why when I saw some advertisement, I think about a month ago, where the Mombasa County was going to sit down and agree on the financial bill of the county. We need to have a very well managed and well documented financial bill for each county. For example, if you come to the county which I come from, which is Murang'a, we need a financial bill that will ensure that we prioritize areas that are necessary to the people. Remember, this money is going to the person. It doesn't mean it's going to the person into their pockets. It's going to the needs of that person. So each county needs to now get called together, sit down and agree. Fine, we have gotten the 35%. What are our priority areas in the next 5 years? What are our priority areas in the next, so that we don't have to change our financial plannings as a county based on the manifesto of the incoming governor? So I think it is important because we don't want governors to run us while they're in Malaysia. After all, they'll have enough money to buy an island there, Dr. Matsanga.
Oh, thank you very much for making that point. I think Miriam is smiling because we have made it several times that the more money you pump into these counties, the more corruption you see. Now, by the end of this year, we might have only 10 governors left in office. The rest will be working from under trees or on the tree. Honestly, the one of Garissa today has been arrested. Another one, there are more. Because you see, you hurried with devolution. You forgot one word, evolution. And I'm coming, take this to your analysis all the time. Devolution can never work without evolution. If you hurry one of them, you will arrest all these governors. All of them are going to end up in a committee. Because you made your constitution of 2010, made governors political warlords. You haven't gone to the road of Nanok. Wait when they go to arrest Nanok. The Turkanas are going to say, you have arrested our son. We are growing oil in Turkana. And the oil is a curse. We might not pass Suguta Valley. So change the constitution now to remove that thing where a governor of Murang'a should not be a man from Murang'a or a woman from Murang'a. Look at the problems in Kenya. It's a topic for the legacy. This is very good topic. Look at the problem for Murang'a. Look at of Kenya. One side of the clan does not like Waiguru. However much you bring her and change her colors, they will find a fault. Look at the fight in Busia. I am not ignoring the governors being thieves. Some are thieves. But in Busia, the people, the Baluya there are not comfortable with Jomong, the Itesons. So the best thing to do with such a county is to put a man, a Somali from northeastern. He doesn't know anybody there. he sits as an ex-official in the in the Senate. In the MCA, the county MCA. When they pass their budget, ceremony is done, he signs the checks. The roads will go without any clan. But at the moment here, believe me or not, at the moment here, my people, devolution is becoming a clan issue. In Kisii, Ongwe, and Maingi. Maingi is going for Ruto. Onge is for Baba and Uhuru Kenyatta. You see the clash? Ruto has capitalized on that and gone there to make pronouncements which he could have made in the State House. The deputy president he was in the State House yesterday. He should have told the president that I'm being fingered. I will use this word, fingered, kufinywa. Niko na finywa na mutu. Why do you come to tell us about this in Kisii? You are bringing in public, that is hate. You are just, I don't know, the deputy president is antagonizing the community. If you look at the statement, why don't you tell the president in the State House that there are people in the Ministry of Interior who want to finish him?
That's true. That's true.
I am talking as an elder. After all, the president put the age 58 above. The deputy president is not yet 58. He had to wait. Ndio sisi wazee wa kilani wazungumzi. Anywhere in Africa, if the president of South Africa can give me an audience, hey, what is it? Tshisekedi knows me. He doesn't need to ask who is this. He thinks I'm his brother because we are all Shuji people. Eh? When I arrived here at DRC Congo, my hotel is not a simple hotel. It's directive from the State House to sleep in one of the best rooms. So what else do you want me to do? Because I speak on TV here, people think that I'm like that. No, boss, I'm respected. If you went with me in some journeys in Africa, you would come back and tell your wife or your husband that, oh, this is a guy worth it. If a plane can change its course and it's taken to another place, and the passengers are there for me to disembark on the other unit, it means you are loved. That is power. So when we are speaking these things, we have been there. We are now hearing, and I want to officially tell you, Britain started locking down on Monday. Britain, United Kingdom started locking down on Monday. There is a second wave. They have locked down nightclubs. They have locked down pubs. I have a family there. My entire family is in Britain. And I'm telling you from Monday, things have gone zero. I can show you the current photographs in the United Kingdom. Then you people in Kenya are playing with people's lives. You are going to Kisii with a high population. You want to finish Kisii. You know, we are joking with this thing. Somebody is going to take some president or someone in law, international law. You know, if you are doing these things intentionally to cause death, someone can take you for crime against humanity. Mchunga kabisa. This COVID-19 will not end without people going to one of those courts. You will see one person going to sue a person for having neglected the guidelines and allowed people to die. You can't go and address a rally at this hour. Museveni is even regretting in Uganda why he decided to tell his party to do primaries by queuing Mlolongo, Ida Yanyayo. He's regretting, he said it. He doesn't know what is going to come out. People came out without masks. And they were breathing at each other as if they are kissing each other at night. You know, it's the same way. You stand with that, no, you stand for 5 hours with a person next to you. Are you not breathing the air next to him? We have reproduced disease. So don't, people are playing with this thing. Now we are going to Kisii. Tomorrow we are planning somewhere else. Another one. Aha. The best thing we have said, mwaga ikitu ya BBI. Just throw it, isn't it, Professor? Throw it. Later. What were the campaigns straight away? Kama kifo, those who remain alive, Miriam, watapiga kura. I'm very, very disturbed about this, Miriam. In the name of God.
It is disturbing there.
When I see, when my wife calls me last night and she said, David, is now again a lockdown. Trains have reduced. Things have reduced. Everything has been locked. Again, in preparation for the second wave. And here, KEMSA managing director is still stealing gloves. We haven't even prepared for the second wave. We are already in hot gear to do campaigns. I give you 1 minute each, starting from Karanja. Summarize.
Yes, thank you very much. I would like to say this on summary that indeed we need this BBI right now in order to address those issues. And I want to get on to what Madam Miriam was saying, Mukami was saying something about the stalemate in Senate. The stalemate is bringing light. A lot of people are getting to know that devolution is somehow not working. It is held sabotage by the governors. And a lot of people are arguing that in the BBI, we need to increase the allocation that is given to the counties so that we stop fighting for these 15%, and it should be increased to at least 40% so that every county will be able to handle its needs appropriately. Number two, on matters election reforms, in order to have a country that is well governed, a country that its citizenry will be happy for it, we must have the right leadership. And we can't have the right leadership when the electioneering body is not well constituted, it is not credible, it's not reliable. The BBI must come and address these things. Because I heard you, Dr. Masanga, in one of the television saying that in 2007, when we had the violence, the person who came to bring the peace agreement, they urged us to be prepared for an election and to have an electioneering body that is credible 2 years before a general election. That is what the BBI should come and address right now. It is 2 years to election, and we need to put the electioneering body in order to avoid chaotics and violence that rises after an election that is not credible, that some people feel as if justice was not delivered. That one BBI must address right now. That is why I'm saying the document, this is the second draft, should be brought so that Kenyans will start reading, will start familiarizing themselves with it so that they know what we need to do. We need peace, and that peace is mostly, the political stability mostly swings after in when we near elections. To avoid these temperatures, we need to have an electioneering body that is good, that is reliable, so that when we go for that election, we'll have confidence that justice will be delivered and the winner will be the actual winner. I beg to rest my case at that point.
Thank you very much. In fact, you have said all the things that most of us wanted to say.
Yes.
About, I thank you very much from Nanyuki. I think that is very credible. That's very, very good analysis. Don't touch anything in this country when you have not cleaned the IEBC of Chebukati.
So we need to clean it. Yeah. We need to have a new a new chairman and CEO in that matter, who are transparent and men of honest and integrity, men who stand for integrity and honest.
Not a man who is paid a cash envelope. Yes.
Not criminal and corruption, corrupt individuals.
Okay. Asante sana. I think, Karen, 1 minute or less. Because for me, I'm not going to say much. He has done what I wanted to say.
Yeah, Javan has summarized it for us, so I do not have anything to add to it, except for the COVID issue. It's serious, and we should still stick to the precautions. I have my packet of masks here. I take it serious, so everybody should.
And thank you very much. Take it seriously and work with it. There's a second wave coming. Otto in Denmark. My friend Otto, Joseph Otto Manasseh, says in Denmark, they have just tightened restrictions. In Kenya, the guy is wearing his turkey suits, shirts and the trousers, going around telling people, apana, nyenye wakisi, Jamen, what's going on? Aterere, what's going on? Professor, your summary.
Thank you so much, Dr. Masanga. If you want to know what I stand for, you know that I'm a champion of social justice. I promote peace. I want people to live in harmony. Those people who are opposed to PPI, Dr. Masanga, I want to post 9 points of the PPI, and then we try to come to understand, are the people crazy? What is happening with these touts, with these chicken sellers? Because that's what we can define them for. Why can't they allow us to prepare the country? Because if you want to plant the tree, Dr. Masanga, at your age, you are not going to use that tree. You are doing it for posterity, to take care of the environment. Why should someone, Dr. Masanga, have a problem if we are saying we want to address ethnic antagonism and the competition in Kenya? Why should someone have a problem if we have said that we want to address divisive elections, whereby every after 5 years, you look at the prime minister and the president, they say, no, Kenyans should be killed on account of elections. We must be just like another country. Why should someone, Dr. Masanga, have a problem with that? Why should someone be against corruption? Because PBI, one of their agendas is to address corruption, unless you are a beneficiary of that corruption. Why should someone not allow Kenyans, we address the national ethos which we lack? Why should someone be against politics of inclusivity? The way Miriam puts it, let us not leave anyone behind if we have to take this country forward. Dr. Masanga, why should someone have a problem if we are addressing devolution, saying that we want to increase resources from 15% to 35%? Why should someone have a problem when Kenyans want to address safety and security of Kenyans? Yesterday we were discussing about people are drumming drums of war. Why should someone have a problem, Dr. Masanga, if we want to have shared prosperity for this country. Dr. Masanga, why should someone have an issue if we want to say that, yes, we have got rights, why don't we address our responsibility? So, Dr. Masanga, the time for PPI to have it been passed and be brought to Kenyans, it should be now. Now is the time.
Thank you. We have 3 minutes to clock. Let me come back to Miriam. Before I come back to Miriam, let me give these 2 minutes. 2 minutes, sir, madam.
Yes.
Finish it for us. We close. If you want to wait for the next topic, which is very interesting, and that is regarding the week that was, the hate speech, the mongers, okay? The return of at last, the return of Patrice Lumumba. Oh my God.
I think Dr. Matsanga, we've had a very interesting conversation. The opinions were real, the opinions were well thought out, and they're also practical, which is the most important thing, because sometimes we come up with policies and we come up with conversations, or we come up with way forward that are not really practical. They look good on paper, but they cannot be, be made practical. And that's the challenge that we are having with devolution today. And most importantly, our value systems as a nation, because we may have the best laws, we may have the best legislation, but if we do not have the people to carry the legislation to the latter, then that becomes a challenge. The understanding of governors in terms of what they know of the fiscal policy, that is very critical, because if they cannot be able to break it down to their counties in management of their resources, then that's where the challenge will always be. People have been crying about corruption, especially in parastatals. But the greatest corruption, as we now can see, is at the county level. And we're talking about increasing that resource, which is not a bad thing, because we're not going to deny Kenyans money because of bad leadership. But we also need to, ignite the passion amongst Kenyans to choose the right leaders. Vetting of these leaders is very critical. At the Jubilee Party, at the ODM party, wherever, when you are presenting your leader, let us forget about how popular, how famous, or how rich this person is. Let us give Kenyans leaders who are leaders of integrity, leaders who have taken time to understand the fiscal policy and what it would mean to manage their various counties. So yes, it is the right time to have this discussion of BBI. And like I mentioned, we've been having it for the last 2 years. And when we come to the end of it all, if at all we are going to get into the referendum, which of course a lot of politicians have gone out there and said is coming, it is important to also consider it a possibility of economic reconnaissance in a small way locally, so that now we are not only thinking about what to share, but also how to create the cake so that we can have enough to share. So the economic reconnaissance strategies are very critical, even as we discuss BBI. On matters to do with corona and the second strain, what we should be keen on is the preventative measures. By now, it is no longer a strange thing, like the time of the HIV, when everybody would stay away from each other because they felt that it was airborne. This one is airborne, and we know what we need to do. So it's critical for the value systems within us to be inculcated, even as we prevent the disease from getting to us. And finally, and most importantly, Dr. Matsanga, we are in a year of succession planning. It's important that each one of us begin to think that way, whether institutionally, politically, or even just generally, we are planning succession. So let us think posterity. Thank you.
Oh my God. If you don't want to go away, the next topic is interesting. Do you have some minutes?
I'm actually at Art Cafe. I'm having coffee with a lady I'm mentoring, so I may have to take a break from that one.
Oh, thank you very much. Enjoy your coffee. It is very cold in Nairobi. Back in the studios here. Thank you very much, Winnie Mukami, a senior consultant in town. If you need anything to do with consultancy, anything to do with strategy management, governance, PR, That lady is there. Most of you saw her on NTV. She used to read the news. She is part of Miriam's gang, the gang of gangs of read news. Me, she's a journalist by profession, background, and therefore, thank you very much. I suggest we continue with it instead of breaking down. What do you think, Miriam?
Yes.
Do we break?
Production.
Eh?
They've said we break and then we can come back.
2 minutes, 5 minutes?
Yes, I think that will be okay. Yeah.
All right. Let's take a break of 5 minutes. When we come back, what is the topic again?
When we come back, we shall have the punch, and the topic of the day is the week of daggers, hate speech, and history making. That is a conversation you do not want to miss.
And I'm told Mr. Oscar Sudi is addressing a mammoth rally in Eldoret. He has taken on the government direct. So that is the news that is flicking in now here. He's again addressing a mammoth rally without any masks in Eldoret. He's using the crowd as, last night he was crying to everybody that the police had surrounded his home and he needed to help. So I said, what about generic supporters of lights? They could go there. They could go there. Talking about that, Miriam, have you seen my article on generic accounts in Capital FM? It was all over news very early in the morning everywhere. Thank you very much for encouraging me. That's why I needed that coffee from your hands today. Thank you.
I think Dr. Matsanga, you should advise Sudi about issues of Dr. Konyi in Uganda. And with that
About
last word, Dr. Konyi's shenanigans in Uganda. Yeah, in Momba, Konyi.
Oh. About?
Yeah, the warlord.
Yes.
The warlord.
Yes.
And what happened to him when he went against the government? So
Well,
I don't know, people could be walking a very tight rope.
Yeah, but you don't rule out about them having plan B. Don't you see plan B coming?
Have a good day, Dr. Matsanga.
Don't you see
Have a
plan B?
wonderful day.
If people come to harass, Miriam, if people come to warn you that you are going to rig our elections, but we are prepared, so they have a plan B.
All right. And we shall continue that conversation. I think it ties with the topic that we shall be having next. So, Doctor, perhaps we just end it here. I go get myself another cup of tea. Our viewers, don't go too far. We shall be back in just a couple of minutes. Yes.
Cup of tea alone.
Very well. Bye-bye for now, but we will be back in a few minutes.